Hello, good people. Happy Sunday to all of us. Today, I want us to share a topic that is rather controversial. I expect a lot of feedback, both positive and negative, because it's a very sensitive topic. And this has to do with children who are born uh, when the mother is still young and they end up not marrying or getting married to the father of that child. I want us to think along the titles, my marriage or my son or daughter. Is it my marriage? Is it my child? And I also want to bring up an issue to the ladies, especially that children are not ping pong balls. What do I mean? It is not a crime known to any law world over that getting a child before you're ready for marriage is a criminal offense. I mean, nobody would prosecute you for that. As to whether to the pastors and priests and African traditionalists this holds true, I do not want to get into it. For me, it's not a crime. The gist of the matter here is, ladies, when you have your precious growing uh, a baby into a handsome boy, a beautiful girl, there are many things that you need to think through and practically as you lay out the next course of your life, as you chart from here, what next? And there are a few things that I have put in place for us to think about today. They're not conclusive, as always, because these matters are dependent on situation to situation. One of the do's that you must have in mind after you have gotten your beautiful baby boy, baby girl, it's fine, and you're still in your mother's house. And now you want to move to the next stage of your life because you have found a new love. If you ever think about linking up with a new spouse for marriage, exhaustively have a sustainable strategy of how you, the lady, and not your spouse, will raise that child. Remember that your spouse had never, ever known your child, let alone planned anything for them. And no young man, to tell you the truth, dreams of raising children of another man. That is a fact no words can erase. The men here listening to me will testify. Therefore, ladies, do have in place resources to raise the child. And the resources are as basic as the bed where that child sleeps, the clothes the child wears, the school fees, the medicals, the leisure, everything that that child needs. Please have in mind that you have a sustainable strategy as to where you will get the resources from. There's a reason why some communities say, have sayings or proverbs that say it is only the child from outside whose bananas makes the fire go off. Meaning, generally, families have no love for a child that is not of their own blood. A clear role that your child is going to play in that new setup. Is this child coming in as a caregiver for your other children? A person to be sent left, right, and center by everybody in the family? Have you brought in a girl who will be a babysitter forever and ever, so much that she will never have time for herself because she is 4 years older than the others, because she is 2 years older than the others? What role is your child going to play in the new setup? And please do not internally use your child as a bargaining chip to get into a new setup. This is where you find ladies saying, I will marry him since he has accepted my child. Your child has no place in this relationship. Beware that the initial yes in I will marry you with together with your child may be because of infatuation that this person has for you. It could be infatuation driven, and the real person springs out when the rubber hits the road as infatuation goes down and your child becomes another bother in his budget, even in his space where he is staying, the seats where he is sitting on, the table where that you're sharing, the bathroom. It is only this child who will leave the soap in water. And this is when the rubber hits the road. Points to ponder about children who are brought into a marriage. These children, my dear ladies, they are highly, highly vulnerable. They suffer identity crisis because you have been living with them either in your parents' home or in your own home where there has been you, maybe the housekeeper or the house help, and yourself and the child. Or there has been you and the parents of the children, the aunties, the uncles, your brothers, your sisters in your original home setup. Then suddenly you plunge this child into a new family. And this family, not just the family as per se, the nuclear family, also the extended family. So this child now has to learn new people. There is also the reaction that we rarely think about, the reaction of the new family. And the new family is not necessarily your spouse. There are other, even children within that setup. The reaction of the new social surroundings, where they start hearing things like, this is the child that came into the family with so and so. This is so and so's child. And you, as a mother, my dear lady, you have no control over what the society will say to this child. And this child may be stressed by the remarks, the comments that are flooding their mind from the society. They may never tell you, but they keep them stored in their brain and they are a source of stress. The other thing that you need to ponder about as you bring in a child into a new setup is disciplining this child. Small things like bedwetting. And you know a child who was not bedwetting could come in and start bedwetting because the child is in a new surrounding, the child has anxiety, and they may start bedwetting. So things like bedwetting, breaking a cup, losing a pencil could flare up things in ways you never imagined in your new spouse. And then you start wondering what has happened to my child. They were not, he or she was not wetting their bed, and suddenly is wetting the bed. And the smell of the urine is such a big issue to your husband, to your new husband. So disciplining the child is another thing that you really need to ponder about. The other thing that you clearly need to ponder about before you jump into a relationship with your child who you gave birth and you love so much before you got married. That not once or twice have such children been subjected to perennial sexual exploitation. This is more so because the new family has no blood connection with this new child, particularly if it's a girl. They look at her growing up 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 16 years, and they start seeing a woman who looks like the mother. And the cousins, the uncles, including the spouse, your spouse, who is supposed to be the stepfather or foster father, starts looking at her with those eyes of this is a nice looking woman. And one thing leads to the other, and before you know it, she's being abused left, right, and center. And unfortunately, this throws you into a quagmire because you're already 5, 10, 20 years into the marriage. You already have 3 other children with this man. Now you are lost. Do you What do you do? Do you break the marriage to save your child who is now in high school, who is now at the university? Or do you allow this man to continue molesting your child? And more so when you don't have the financial muscle to free yourself from this child molester, because you can be able to take care of yourself. So you're pressed into a hole that you cannot get into. Your child suffers. Boys have been sodomized in such new relations because every other boy in the family, if they have tendencies of this behavior, they feel this is the person to test with. After all, it's not our blood, and they feel it. There's nothing to hide about it. They look the instincts are not there of that closeness. So not once have I had situations or cases where this molesting of daughters has gone on all the way until the girls are broken. They even have sad children with their stepfathers. So please, mothers, do not, I say again, play ping pong with your children. If you have that one child, take care of that child like there is nobody else to take care of that child, because by the end of the day, you are the only person answerable to the plight of your child. Remember, you got this child with somebody, and that somebody has moved on since then. Maybe they're even married, but they don't have the child at heart. So it is you and your child. Find a safe place for your child. I remind women once more that love does not buy food, does not pay school fees, does not buy medicine. So before you get into any kind of relationship, and more so when you have this child that you have with another person, before you get married now to the real love of your life, ask yourself, what do you have to put on the table for your child and other children to come for them to eat, for them to wear, for them to buy medication, for them to go to school, for even their leisure? Because there comes a time when you want to think, would you rather have a marriage and a broken child? Or would you rather chart your life on another trajectory for the sake of your child? Thank you for listening to me, Dr. Rose M. And please, if you have not subscribed, please do so that we continue to grow our channel. Let me hear your comments, please. Thank you and have blessed Sunday.